We have 3 exciting stories for you to watch, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to remain ahead of the competition. Welcome to Grand Prix, your go-to channel for the fastest updates in Formula One. Let's begin. We've officially entered Monaco Grand Prix week, one of the most divisive races on the Formula One calendar. While some people adore it for its rich history, glamour, and sheer challenge, others criticize it for lacking on-track excitement. Let's face it, overtaking in Monaco has become extremely rare because the track is so narrow and there isn't much room for daring moves with today's massive F1 cars. As a result, the qualifying session on Saturday frequently determines the outcome of the race. What do you think of Monaco's tradition and uniqueness? Do you think the modern size of the cars makes it impractical for proper racing? For the Monaco Grand Prix this year, Formula One has implemented new regulations. Traditionally, drivers must make at least one mandatory pit stop during a race. However, for the first time, teams will have to make 2 pit stops during Monaco. This means that they can no longer rely on a single strategic stop to get them through the race. In addition, the new rules require drivers to use 3 different tire compounds throughout the race, which means they will eventually need to use the soft, medium, and hard tires. This could significantly alter the race order because different cars will be running on wildly different levels of performance and grip throughout the race. A car with new soft tires could be significantly faster than another struggling on worn hard tires, creating more overtaking opportunities, or at the very least creating strategic diversity that makes the race more dynamic, is the obvious goal here. Picture a driver on new softs quickly catching up to a competitor wearing old hards, and suddenly overtaking becomes a real possibility. A well-timed pit stop could move a driver up the order, while a slow stop or bad strategy could cost other teams a lot of money. This is true even on this infamously tight street circuit, where having more pit stops naturally increases the chance of pit lane errors, botched strategies, or even unexpected gains. This alone could make the race significantly less predictable than in previous years, where the driver who claimed pole position was almost always the favorite to win. Moreover, this rule change is likely to discourage the common tactic of nursing tires for as long as possible, with leaders often driving conservatively. To extend a single stint through most of the race with 2 stops and mandatory use of all compounds, drivers will be more inclined to push harder, knowing that they'll need to pit again anyway. This could lead to some exciting on-track battles as drivers behind attempt to gain positions through either pit stop strategy or aggressive driving. So what do you think? Do you consider this a smart move by F1 to address the challenges that Monaco presents with modern cars, or do you still feel that despite these changes, the Monaco Grand Prix has become an outdated event that perhaps no longer belongs on the calendar? There are definitely strong opinions on both sides, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments. The highly anticipated Monaco Grand Prix, one of the most distinctive events on the Formula One calendar in contrast to most other races, is taking place this week. Of course, here at Grand Prix, we're giving you all the latest information straight from the circuit, with exclusive images, updates on car setups, and other breaking news. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because we post videos every day covering the best of the Formula One world. If you enjoy this straightforward, to-the-point content, please leave a like because it really helps support our work. Saturday's qualifying session is absolutely crucial here because it often determines the outcome of Sunday's race. Speaking of news from Thursday's events in Monaco, drivers have already begun showing up at the circuit for what is called Media Day. During this time, they participate in interviews, press conferences, and important meetings with their engineering teams to start preparing their vehicles for the weekend. One driver who definitely made an entrance was Lewis Hamilton, who turned heads by arriving on a supersport motorcycle, capturing the attention of everyone around. Also present was Gabriel Bordolino, the promising Brazilian driver, giving interviews to Band TV, and of course the reigning world champion Max Verstappen is already on site and getting prepared for the action ahead. On the topic of team news, Ferrari unveiled a special livery for the weekend. While it's not a major overhaul, it does feature a meaningful tribute, a subtle nod to their long-standing partnership with Shell. This Collaboration has now lasted an impressive 75 years, and to commemorate it, the No. 75 has been prominently displayed next to the Shell logo on the car. Meanwhile, we've also gotten a closer look at some technical details, particularly regarding the front wings and, more notably, the rear wings of various teams' cars. These components offer key insights into the aerodynamic configurations teams have chosen for this challenging track. Monaco is famous for requiring high downforce setups due to its tight corners and low speed sections. As expected, teams like McLaren and Mercedes have brought cars with heavily loaded rear wings, focusing on maximizing grip and cornering speed at the expense of straight-line velocity. This makes sense, as there are a few long straights at Monaco where low drag would offer a real advantage. On the other hand, both Ferrari and Red Bull have opted for slightly less draggy configurations. Their setups rely more on the overall mechanical grip and downforce generated by other parts of the car to get them through Monaco's intricate corners. It's a calculated gamble in the hopes that their total chassis efficiency and balance will make up for their thinner wing profiles. But that's not all. There are more updates coming throughout the Monaco weekend, and you can be sure we'll cover them all here on the channel. Hey everyone, welcome back with another significant update from the world of Formula One, this time focusing on Aston Martin and the eagerly awaited return of Adrian Newey to the paddock for the very first time since joining Aston Martin. This is Monaco, of course, a circuit where the slightest miscalculation can send a driver straight into the barriers. We already have the first pictures of Newey strolling through the Monaco paddock, and in addition to these, some additional information regarding his job and whether he will be contributing technically this weekend has surfaced. Talking about this, Andy Cowell, the team principal for Aston Martin, explained Newey's role for the weekend. According to Cowell, Newey will first be there as an observer with the goal of getting first-hand knowledge of how the data from the wind tunnel and simulations translate into on-track performance. But he will also be closely examining how the entire team functions, immersing himself in the daily workflows and looking for potential efficiency improvements. Importantly, and in contrast to some earlier conjecture, in fact, Newey will be actively supporting the team's endeavors. There had been doubts this weekend about whether he would make any technical decisions or changes to the car setup. Some thought his role would be purely observational. However, it has now been confirmed that Newey will use his extensive Red Bull experience to provide technical recommendations targeted at enhancing the car's setup, particularly for Monaco, a circuit that requires precise engineering and the best mechanical grip. Andy Cowell stressed that Newey will be actively participating in all technical discussions throughout the weekend and will be assessing the cars and the team's operational strengths and weaknesses. His suggestions should help the car's setup so that it performs at its best on Monaco's distinctive and difficult streets. It's also envisaged that this won't be a one-time appearance. It is anticipated that Newey will participate in a number of other races this season in order to progressively become a part of the team, become acquainted with its procedures, and of course support its development. Since Monaco is a circuit where driver skill and car setup are paramount, this gradual involvement is intended to ensure that by 2026, when the new regulations take effect and Aston Martin plans to fully unleash their new technical package, everything is perfectly aligned. As always, the hope with Newey is that he will help propel Aston Martin to the top of the grid, something that both he and the team are deeply committed to achieving. Having someone with Newey's level of skill and experience on the squad may be really beneficial. There's a tangible sense of optimism in the Aston Martin garage as we look ahead to the race. Could Adrian Newey's extensive knowledge of aerodynamics, chassis dynamics, and race strategy, which helped Red Bull dominate for more than 10 years, make a real difference for Aston Martin this weekend? Do you think that Adrian Newey's presence will be the catalyst that turns Aston Martin into a title contender as we enter the 2026 era? Stay tuned here at Grand Prix Plus for all the latest news and exclusive insights from the F1 paddock.